Speaking of Leia's lightsaber, I also do enjoy she just got this, and when they were under attack, she's just like, I wonder if I could deflect fire.
I've had a good session with the training remote. Let's go.
There are only 7? I can take 7 guys, right?
Yeah.
Hello there. You found the lost Holocron, an ancient artifact of lore and legend from a galaxy far, far away. Each transmission of the lost Holocron, you will join an episodic discussion of media from the Star Wars universe. We will be your guides. I'm Kyle. We have Tim.
Hey, guys.
Scott.
Hey.
And Stuart.
G'day.
Today we will be covering the material up to and including Chapter 10 of Heir to the Empire. Stuart, what's the story so far?
Well, so far, Grand Admiral Thrawn has been escalating his pressure on the disputed territory between the Empire and the New Republic. Now, with Master Joruus C'baoth at his disposal, Thrawn commands 3 simultaneous planetary raids to test both the skill and compliance of the Dark Jedi. Smuggler Talon Karrde and his apprentice, Mara Jade, seem to be in the right place at the right time to witness a raid on Bpfassh, while the New Republic is on the back foot, as its resources and attention are being reallocated into establishing governance despite still being at war. Leia's Jedi training has started sporadically, while Luke worries that he might not be the teacher that is needed of one tasked with rebuilding the Jedi Order.
Wonderful. And Scott, what happened this chapter?
So this chapter, Leia and Han survey the damage on Bpfassh under the protective detail of Wedge Antilles and Rogue Squadron. Leia's new Jedi senses alert them just in time to another ambush by the same alien species that ambushed them on Bimasari. Despite being able to repel their assailants, they are nonetheless closer to understanding the motives and origins of these mysterious aliens. After the unproductive call with Admiral Ackbar, Han decides it's time to take matters of their safety into their own hands.
Thank you so much. I love this chapter. Mostly the surprise attack that happens to the group while they're checking out the damage. Just the fact that they got like a Trojan horse situation going on with a fake. With a fake.
That was such a good situation.
Who came up with that bullshit?
That was cool. That was cool.
So stupid.
I mean, it would have worked if they'd just used the swivel gun at the bottom. They didn't even have to, like, shoot at anybody in particular, just to make it seem like they were laying down cover fire or something.
Yeah, that or just, like, have a little more pressure from the ground force to make them feel like we gotta go now.
Yeah, don't give them enough time to think about, why is this YT, what is it, YT 1300?
Yeah.
It's too clean. This can't be my ship.
Han's like, wow, they actually dug up another one somewhere.
I also love that while they were looking over the damage, they're like, oh, only a couple hundred people died. Like, oh, that's not that bad. And they're like, in the grand scheme of it all, like, what's a couple hundred people?
No. There are 3 whole systems attacked. Who cares? We can't even say their planet's name.
and one other thing that I love is that Han, when the ship comes down, when the fake Falcon comes down, and Han is like, oh, Chewie must have put 2 and 2 together and realized that there are connections being blocked, so he came down to save us. But it wasn't Chewie, so that means Chewie's up there texting or doing some other bullshit. He just doesn't know what's going on.
Continuing to not be a participant in the story in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think, like, technically he didn't even make an appearance in this chapter. He is just mentioned off screen.
They did flip over from, like, shooting the escape pod up as, like, a beacon to Chewie to just being on the ship pretty quickly.
Yeah. In the other room.
Yes.
There's a quick fade wipe to the ship.
Oh, that would be hilarious, actually. I want it to wipe up vertically with the trajectory of the escape pod.
Speaking of things that happen off screen, what do you say when it's it's outside of the perception of the point of view character, is Leia's lightsaber. The color is not mentioned in this chapter either. It wasn't mentioned in the last chapter. It wasn't mentioned in this chapter. And it's being used outside the perception of what we've got going on. So we still don't get that color.
Is it necessary? No.
But
do I want it? Yes.
Yes, we all
what the people want.
We love
I
lightsabers.
need it. The story doesn't need it, but I need it.
We did get
I
the
need
sound.
to know what she's rocking.
We did get the sound of it,
lightsaber. I also do enjoy. She just got this, and like when they were under attack, she's just like, I wonder if I could deflect fire. like,
all right, here I go. I've had a good session with the training remote. Let's go.
I'm willing to take this chance right now.
There are only 7. I can take 7 guys, right?
Yeah. I barely broke a sweat with the remote.
I got to say that is a very consistent part of her character, because even in the earlier chapter in Bpfassh, she's like, well, maybe I can use the Force to take all of their weapons, and Han's like, no, you can't even turn on the light switch. Let's drop our expectations a little bit.
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
Poor Leia.
At least we get her ignition sound, which is the same as Luke's.
Yeah.
Right.
Does the story need it?
Hiss.
No, but I need it.
We all need it.
I think it's important. It takes up a little bit like mental space in how you visualize or experience the reading session, because I've mentioned before, I don't see things, but it does put some sort of like emotional hue across the scene to be described, that there's like green light or it's red light, or I'm not expecting her to have a blood red saber, but at this point you could be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, that is a good point. It definitely would help me feel more connected or make me able to visualize it more easily, because right now I just see a white beam of light coming out of it, and maybe that's her color, but
maybe
I'd like to know. I'd like some confirmation. Yeah.
How varied are the ignition noises? The hiss, snap, or snap hiss?
Oh, quite. Oh my goodness. In A New Hope, I think we have 2 or 3 different kinds.
Mm-hmm.
And then Empire Strikes Back, we get Vader's ignition, which is the very long hiss, and that becomes kind of like the Sith ignition sound and gets reused. And then there's Luke's ignition in Return of the Jedi. That's the snap hiss, where it's quite fast and it has a hiss towards the end.
Okay.
And they tend to reuse all of those quite a bit throughout the prequels, but they did create like a faster version of the very first ignition sound when Luke first turned on that lightsaber that they used quite a bit. In the sequel trilogy, they added some bass to it and made it very punchy, and that trend has continued in modern lightsabers. In The Last Jedi, they used the sound of, those life vests under your seat on an airplane flight?
Mm-hmm.
They use the sound of the air releasing from that as the basis of the ignition in that. And that's one of the newer ignition sounds we've gotten.
Right.
Pretty much everything else is some form of remix of those base templates set in the original trilogy. So yeah, there's a fair amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does help me to know what it sounds like.
Right, yeah.
But it's not as useful as the color.
You mentioned before about what really anchors you into these situations is the that kind of tactility of these details.
Yeah.
So.
I like there being enough for me to get the visual. I don't need a description of everything.
Yeah.
But if I know the general scenery and maybe get a idea of the color palette, that helps anchor me a lot personally.
Yeah.
All that aside, Wedge Antilles, he's here, guys.
He's here.
He's cool. We like him.
A
Kind of
Jedi.
security detail.
Just like, I like it. He was like, I don't make up stories. I just tell them.
Yeah. Right. I was actually kind of surprised that he knew about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that phrase is now probably ages quite badly in the age of disinformation. Of like, I don't check my facts. I'm just spreading whatever story I hear. Retweet.
Yeah. Just like everybody today.
Oh my God.
It's a little interesting for sure that Wedge knows about Joruus C'baoth, but Leia doesn't.
Yeah.
But at this point, she doesn't necessarily have all like the ins and outs of the Jedi because she's pretty much just learning on the weekends.
But I feel like she should have an idea from her training as a diplomat.
Yeah, because it did mention that he was quite a prominent Jedi as well.
Yeah,
that disappeared.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole story with like the ship blowing up or whatever happened to that. Pelion and Thrawn mentioned
the outbound flight project.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. And so it is very, very bizarre that Wedge is the one to deliver that information. Yeah. Maybe he was on the HoloNet Wikipedia one day just looking into flight stuff and came across it. I don't know.
The data sphere.
Yeah. Data sphere.
No, but we mentioned something about, I think we mentioned something during that chapter where maybe it was something that was pretty much just common knowledge within like a need to know type knowledge because Pelion knew about it and now Wedge knows about it. So maybe it was just something that higher military intelligence knew about at the time.
How old is Wedge at this point, though?
Oh, wouldn't he be? I would say like between Han and Leia's age.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that he's older than Han.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
I would say he'd probably be about the same age as Han. I think he's older than Luke.
It says on the wonderful, wonderful Wikipedia that we owe so much to that he was born 21 BBY.
Oh, okay. So he's
so
only
he
2
was
years
21 at the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
And so he's in his late 20s here.
Yeah, this is 10 years after. So he's 30?
Early 30s then. 31.
Yeah. So he's only 2 years older than Luke, I think, right? Because he's 19 BBY, right?
Yeah.
I thought he was a little older than that.
Is that the legend side or the canon side?
Legends. Yep. I made sure to go to Legends. Yeah.
Because in the Rebels cartoon, he seems a lot younger than I would have placed him from. Yeah. Because I would have expected him to be a little bit like a Saw Gerrera.
Yeah.
Generation.
Yeah, like in his 40s.
Yeah.
40s, maybe 50s. But no, he's pretty young.
Yeah.
So then how does he know? I mean, I'm sure there's a perfectly good explanation. It's just bizarre within the context of what we know right now in the story.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he seems to be something of an intel kind of person, because between Wedge and Paige, the two kind of special forces, like certainly they mention that Wedge is more, and Rogue Squadron is the space specialty rather than the ground combat, which seems to be Paige's special forces. But they must have some sort of like intel being the head of those particular divisions.
That's true. I'm remembering now he did mention that there was mention of a Jedi on a planet recently by that name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I do like going back to the fake ship. I do like how Han knew enough to, I guess, gas chamber the people on the inside by cutting the what did he cut?
Oh yeah,
he cut some sort of fuel thing or air thing where he's like, well, out here it's fine because the air is denser, it's gonna go up, but inside they're gonna suffocate.
He probably experienced that firsthand just from some kind of weird accident on the Falcon, so he knew exactly what he knew exactly what would happen.
Oh yeah, I could totally see that.
I do worry about
They're
Han.
all just
It does also mention in this chapter he's starting to get paranoid, which I feel like somebody like Han Solo being paranoid is not a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe he got a little bit of that gas or whatever the guys that he's trying to gas the other guys with.
I mean, he's already quick to fire as is.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Quite hot-headed at the moment.
Him and Akbar are getting quite ruffled
Oh yeah.
against each other.
I loved that exchange.
Yeah.
He snarks Akbar, and Akbar goes, "I'm not sure I appreciate the tone of that question, Captain." And he says, "I don't like it much either, Admiral," and then continues.
That's good.
That was a particularly lovely exchange.
Yeah.
I also did get like the we got a little bit of a I got a bad feeling about this in this chapter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I liked the phrasing of it.
Yeah.
As well. Why do I suddenly have a bad feeling about this?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a question, not a statement, as it usually is. So we have some kind of security breach within the Capitol.
Yeah. Some sort of intel is being leaked.
Yep.
Although it does go to show, he did say that there's like over 200 people that you need to start vetting, and then their connections. That there's really a kind of 6 degrees of Emperor Palpatine going on. Very hard to keep things under wraps.
Yep. Especially with how the New Republic is spread thin as well.
Yeah, there's a leak, and then Leia and Han are like, you know what? Well, I think it's mostly Han. He's like, let's fuck off for a bit. Let's go hang out with my friend Lando.
Yeah.
Right? I'm very excited. Enter Lando.
Yeah, me too. I love it when Lando shows up. I do wonder why Leia still distrusts him, though.
I mean, he was a general for quite a while.
I think it's one of those things. Like, you know, they got along together afterwards because they were in the rebellion. But like, to them, rebellion's over. She doesn't have to trust him now. She knows that he is capable of betraying people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in.
It is, but I mean, they've been through a lot, and he served. So why is that not enough?
Yeah. I guess, we haven't seen what his history in the past 5 years has been, so we're going to find out when he comes in with his hot chocolate and telling us what he's been doing.
His Colt 45.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to see Lando. I hope he is sitting by the fireplace, just in a nice, comfy bathrobe with his hot chocolate, and gets to tell us the whole story. That would be a top tier chapter for me.
I got to say, I really feel for Leia being stuck in her responsibilities, because there's clearly stuff that she wants to do, and Han turning around and saying, well, you can't just think about yourself, you've also got to think about the kids that you're carrying. And it's really, I feel like it reflects a lot of what we see in society now, of women being forced to give up things because they're being told that, like, well, you have to think of your children, you have to think of, which is tough to have to force people to make decisions and basically talk down to them for something that they have to carry these children, because of that's the way biology works. But
yeah, and no, it definitely really does seem unfair.
Kind of in the predicament that I'm in right now. It's like, do I get a job or do I stay home with the kids? It's like, but what do you think that she would prefer to do in this situation? Do you think she would prefer to be her diplomatic self or do her Jedi training?
I think her and I have a lot in common, that there is just not enough time in reality to do all the things that you want to do. Because I feel like if she didn't have to sleep, if she didn't have to do any other commitments, that she would still be doing absolutely everything. She appreciates the things that she brings to the politics, but she also wants to study her Jedi stuff, but she also wants to be a good mother. And she, I feel like, there is no perfect situation. She's going to have to give up something that is meaningful.
Right. Like if she had to choose one or the other, I'm kind of feeling like she would just choose what she knew, and she would go kind of like the diplomat political route rather than the Jedi route.
Yeah.
Because to me, the Jedi route for her seems like it's really frustrating and she doesn't get it.
Yeah. Although she has been asking for more time for Jedi studies for a while, it seems.
Mm-hmm. True.
And I feel like the commitment that she can give and wants to give to the politics is probably not enough to do everything.
Yeah, I think she's a bit more interested in Jedi training.
Yeah.
Especially so she can grab the weapons of enemies when they're surrounded. Yeah. I think having some of that power in her arsenal is appealing to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think so Thrawn's been telling C'baoth that power is being inside the minds of other people and being able to manipulate them. Do you think that is a tempting power for Leia? What do you think Leia sides with C'baoth, that power is influence, it's not direct control?
I think the influence part is more of her route, but because of her political upbringing, but it's hard to tell exactly.
I don't think she cares to control minds. I think it's definitely more in the influence stage, but I think the way she approached the BIMs, I think shows how she feels about influencing minds, where she's very deferential and she tries to be as considerate as possible and respectful of others.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for her, the power is just another way to defend what she cares about.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, her Jedi training will help her protect her family too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Leia also seems to be catching on to Phalia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She does mention that, what was it? Charisma and ambition are a dangerous combination. And Han's like, oh, what's that? And she's like, oh, no, never mind. What was that about?
Yeah, I was wondering why she didn't want to press it further. I think maybe it's because Han is so on edge that she doesn't want him to start causing trouble.
Yeah, probably.
Or maybe she's trying to give Phalia the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a real upstarter. Because, as between Han's squabble with Akbar is really on a knife's edge, it seems, or at least a hair trigger against, moves against his authority.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely.
Although we don't see, like, Phalia's good with a silver tongue, but we're not actually sure what his strengths are. And many characters have commented that Akbar is a good military leader, but I'm not sure that Phalia would be able to perform in that role as well. He just wants it for the power. But
yeah,
have I missed something? Is Phalia what is Phalia's strength, and if he were to get a more powerful position?
I think that Phalia is just a very good leader who is very good at explaining things to people in a way that motivates them. And I'm deducing this from how Leia describes Akbar in this chapter, her summary of him, where she says, for all his military genius, he just doesn't have the polish to be a good politician. Right. And she mentions that people tend to turn more towards Phalia. So I do think Phalia has military experience, perhaps a bit more in the espionage area than the all-out warfare one. But
what's known for that?
Yeah, but I think Phalia knows how to lead, and I think Akbar knows how to lead a battle, but not how to lead hearts and minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
and they're really at that cascade point now that they want to move over into a more charismatic government, one that wins minds, not just battles.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, they're still at war, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Great tension for a book.
I know, right? Every time we talk about the New Republic, I'm like, oh, you poor things.
I know. You know, it would be great if Phalia could be, I don't know, something else. I don't know, why is there only one position of power that people are jockeying for? Why not have some other position in government that people are looking to Phalia, so Phalia can have his power, but then the supreme commander of the military force is still Akbar.
Yeah.
So that they get, you know, it's just a game of musical chairs. There's not enough chairs for everybody to sit down.
Yeah. Like, come on, guys, just try a bit more democracy. Yeah.
I do like how it's like, it seems like they want to overthrow them, and it's just like, I know we just finished a rebellion. What if we build a little bit more, so I can have that too?
Yeah.
Let's have a rebellion within a rebellion. Why not?
Just a tiny rebellion, like a snack-sized rebellion.
Fun size.
Fun size, yeah.
The family pack is done.
Yes.
And this was a short chapter, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Even though the Trojan horse was extremely silly, I still thought it was a pretty fun little situation to happen, even though it wasn't quite logically sound.
It felt very Star Wars, though.
It did.
I am curious, what was step 2?
Capture them.
Okay, so they get on the ship.
They come on the ship, you close the doors. Yeah.
Step 3, profit.
Yeah, they're in the ship. You web them up with your
That's right,
with your webby sticks.
Stuckley sticks.
Stokely sticks, thanks.
Right.
Stokely sticks.
That shoot 200 meters.
Yes.
So,
oh man, would they ricochet all over that freighter?
Just absolutely destroy the interior of the Falcon. No one.
Then Han will be like, "Oh, it feels like home."
So Kyle, I think you were asking about if it was like coolant or something that they were cutting through with the lightsaber in the decoy Falcon. It says here it's pressurized core phase gas, but it's like a coolant. So yeah, they were cutting through the coolant lines.
Nice. With a lightsaber of unknown color.
Right.
Yeah.
But then have enough screen, so
maybe it's invisible.
We need to describe it.
Maybe it's invisible.
Oh, invisible lightsaber.
Ghost blade.
Ghost blade.
They haven't said it, but it's red.
It's red?
No, I was just making a joke.
Oh, okay.
Hey, it happened in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Why not?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Leia actually did have a red lightsaber at one point, but I forget when.
Red or fuchsia, like kind of pinky?
Oh, I think it was fuchsia. But it looks very red in some images.
I feel like you definitely shouldn't have a color that could be confused for red.
No, definitely not.
Vermilion. Scarlet.
Link to that video of the guy who what was it that you can tell the alignment by the lightsaber color, and the guy the Sith Lord has stolen a green lightsaber.
Oh yeah,
fellow Jedi.
Oh, is that the one with the brown lightsaber?
Yeah.
He's like, what's that
Please
smell?
excuse my apprentice. He does not know of our ways yet.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through Wikipedia right now, the Legends page for Leia. So far, I've seen her with a yellow one, with a pinkish red one, and a blue one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's all over the place.
And then if I remember correctly, that hilt was kind of like the tubular fat on top and bottom, and then like real skinny.
Yeah, it was thin in the middle.
Mm.
That was a weird one.
It didn't look very comfortable.
No, it didn't. A fun chapter. Yay. Let's see what's next.
All right, looking forward to Lando.
Yes, Lando's coming.
Hopefully. Hopefully we don't get 3 chapters of filler.
Oh no, right? We might.
I want to hear Luke on Dagobah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I want to see what happens there.
All right. Yeah. Hopefully they don't split chapters. These kind of like one scene chapters are very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
They follow a character from.
Maybe we'll go back
a little
to
bit.
yeah. No more multiple part chapters.
Yeah, definitely. I can handle 2. Once we get to 3, I'm out.
This has been The Lost Holocron. You can find transcripts, links to discussions, and more at our website, lostholocron.com. While you're there, you can learn how to support the creation of future episodes. Read on, and we'll be waiting for you in the next transmission. We would be honored if you would join us.